lovers, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pamela and I put out beauty related videos when I can. Eek. I'm so excited about today's video. Can you tell? Probably, because I'm always excited about every day's video. Today's video is going to be a full face on Rare Beauty. If you don't know me or don't know my channel, I guess you wouldn't know that I am a huge fan of Rare Beauty. Now, I'm not a big fan of Selena Gomez, but I do love her makeup. I didn't grow up watching her on the Disney Channel. I don't really care for her particular genre of music, but her makeup is top quality for me. I love the price point. Being at Sephora, you know, you automatically assume it's going to be a super duper expensive luxury product, but the price point is good. The quality is superior. The amount of products that they now have is so wonderful for a full face. There are a couple of products from her particular brand that I don't have, and I'll probably get into it while I'm doing the application and this makeup look that you are previewing right now. But they do have a very good amount of products where you can create this full face that I've got going on. I'm also going to be touching on newer products from Rare Beauty. I have the Always Sunny Bronze Stick, and I also have the new setting powder. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on these as I am applying them to my face, but I do have some thoughts and opinion on some of them. I think, is that all the babbling I've got going on today? I think so. So let's just get right into this. Yes. Okay, so I already did my eyebrows. I just used the, what did I use? The ColourPop brow pencil. I just kind of have this in my little makeup bag right now, and I just keep using it. It's one of my favorites for sure. And so I did that since, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the Rare Beauty brow products. Their brow pencil is a little bit on the thicker side for my liking. I definitely like something a little bit thinner, and the day that they come out with a nice micro like tipped brow pencil, I'm definitely gonna be on top of that. So let's start with the skin. I recently started using the Rare Beauty Always an Optimist 4-in-1 Mist. I really like this. It's such a fine mist, and it's perfect for before makeup and after makeup. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray a little bit of this on my face just to get the skin going. It's such a nice, like, light fragrance. It's not overwhelming or overpowering. It definitely doesn't make me want to sneeze after I spray it all over my face, but it definitely gives the skin a really nice hydrated look that I'm all about. For primer, I'm gonna go in with the Pore Diffusing Primer. I just have a mini of this, and I'm gonna be straight up, this isn't my favorite. I definitely prefer my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer to this. I do like the way that it sits on the skin and how it makes the skin look, but I don't think it does too much for my pores. I definitely feel like it's a little bit more of a hydrating primer, if anything. And I mean, it feels great on the skin and it makes the makeup glide on beautifully. But as far as like pore filling, for me, it's not as good as my e.l.f. Putty Primer. You guys know how I love that primer. But this is really nice for more of that hydrated, you know, beautiful glow within skin look, and I'm all about that. Now for foundation, obviously I'm gonna go in with the Rare Beauty foundation. If you ever saw my first initial impression and review on this foundation, it was incredible for me because it's so difficult to find the perfect light to medium shade with like a neutral undertone for me. I feel like foundations either pull too warm or they're too cool. I'm in the shade 210N, and this couldn't be the most perfect match. I usually match all of the other foundations I purchase on Sephora to this, and I usually get a pretty good match with that. So definitely love how inclusive the shade range is in this foundation, and it just makes the skin look beautiful. And I used to swipe it, but I actually like dotting it like Selena Gomez has done in so many of her videos. So I just dot that foundation all over, it looks funny, all over the face. And then I'm gonna take this buffing brush from BH Cosmetics. I tried looking for this the last time I mentioned this brush, but they didn't have it. I know that there is something going on with BH Cosmetics right now, so I'm not sure if this will be something that's available to purchase, but I'm bummed I didn't pick up more of this brush because this brush is so good for blending out literally any foundation. Oh gosh, the way that this foundation looks on the skin is always so beautiful. Like, I already knew this foundation was good and I already know that I love this foundation, but it never ceases to amaze me how pretty it looks on the skin. And the shade match, again, this is probably the closest shade match in foundation I have ever found, and that's why I continue to buy from Rare Beauty and why I like Rare Beauty so much. It also has pretty decent coverage. You saw those little red dots that I had right in between my eyebrows, and it almost made them disappear. It builds up beautifully on top of that. And even if you add like layer after layer after layer, it's still just going to look like skin. Again, the color match is the best. For concealer, I'm not a huge fan of the concealer. I do like it. Clearly, I've made a pretty big dent in this concealer and it pairs beautifully with the foundation. I love that that's like a thing. Whatever foundation you purchase, you can purchase the corresponding concealer in the identical shade, and the concealer is just going to be a tad bit lighter than the foundation, so it can act like as a brightener and make sure that you're not like sort of picking and choosing and guessing. Like, I love that they did that. It's very like makeup beginner friendly, and if you're somebody who's not certain when buying foundation what shade of concealer you've purchased, they've made this foolproof for literally everybody. And I love the doe foot applicator on this. It just doesn't have like that full coverage that I'm looking for. Like, I get more full coverage out of my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer and the Anastasia Magic Concealer. I'm so bad with names. I think that's what it's called, but I get more coverage out of those two products than I do with this one. But this does sit beautifully on top of that foundation, and it looks really, really hydrating under the eye. And that's my main concern. Like, I don't want crusty under eyes, you know? As you can see, it's the same shade, 210N, but it's way, way brighter. And it's gonna definitely help those people who struggle with finding shades, because all you have to do is find the shade of your foundation and then just match it with the same shade of concealer. And it just blends into the skin so nicely. See, you could still kind of see a little bit of my darkness peeking through like right here, but I quite like the shade and it doesn't really bother me too much. Some days I want that full coverage under the eyes, specifically on days where I didn't get much sleep, but honestly I slept really, really well. I went to bed really early and I didn't have to get up as early today since I don't have to work. So I do like the way that this is sitting under the eye today. I also like to let it sit on the skin for a few minutes before blending it out. So I always blend out my under eye concealer last so that it gives me a little bit more added coverage. The skin's looking real smooth, real pretty, real hydrated. It's my favorite. Okay, new product, or newer product. This is their spring collection, or part of their spring collection. I got one of her bronzer sticks in the shade Always Sunny. It's a little bit more on the reddish brown side, and I was looking for something like this because my Makeup by Mario contour stick is very neutral, and so I was like, you know what, I want a different shade. If I'm gonna do contour sticks, like, I kind of want variations of shades, and I actually really like the shade of this. It blends out beautifully. It looks really, really nice on the skin, and it's another one of those foolproof products. If you're not very good with cream contouring or any sort of cream bronzing products, this is really good. It goes on super duper pigmented, as you can see, but it blends out super easy. And I let that sit for a second there while I was doing all the talking that I've been doing. And it just blends out really, really nicely onto the skin. To apply this product is I like to take a nice little round fluffy brush, and I do pick up the product on the brush. I don't quite like striping just because sometimes I feel like the stripe is still there even after I've blended. And although this is a super duper creamy formula, I don't know, maybe it's a psychological thing, but I still feel like I could see the stripe on my face. So I apply it onto the brush, and then I just start stamping it in the areas where I want to contour. And as you can see, it's a really nice like reddish brown color, but I kind of like it because it makes me look like I'm a little bit sunburned, and that's the kind of look I want lately. Like I want to look like I'm very, very much sunburned. And I live in San Diego and I don't go to the beach as often as I should. I was there this morning, but I wasn't like at the beach. I was just like walking by the beach, but I feel like I need to fit in with the lifestyle here, and contour is the best way to fake that. It blends out really, really nicely. Like I said, this shade is really good. I think this is the third, or just like the shade in the middle between the really, really light ones and the really, really deep ones. And I really, really like this color. Like it fits perfectly. And on the nose, you know, when I'm just barely stamping it, it definitely looks like I've got a little bit of a sunburn, and I'm loving, loving this formula and this shade. Don't forget the double chin. Okay, I also picked up a new blush in the shade Believe. These liquid blushes are incredible. I have the shade Joy, which is a really pretty, almost like, orangey red color. It's suitable for literally everybody. It's like the most flattering shade, but I really, really wanted something like mauve and cool toned like this. I don't really have too many cool toned blushes in my collection, and I love this formula. This is their dewy formula. The dewy formula, from what I have seen, is superior to the matte formula. Now, if you're an oily skin person, the matte formula could probably work better for your skin, but I just really enjoy the dewy ones, and I just don't feel the need to try any of the matte ones. I do prefer more of a dewy finish when it comes to blush, so oh, look at the creasing of my eyelids. I'm really, really excited that she released more dewy than matte. So the way that I like to apply these is I take a little bit of the product on the back of my hand, and I mean a little bit. That's gonna be enough, and I'm gonna have some extra. And then I like to take this like stippling brush and sort of kind of like mix it. Look at that. Oh my God, it never ceases to amaze me how little you need of these products. I make sure I coat my brush, kind of do a little bit extra. It's very messy, okay? Just trust the process. And then I take this and I sort of just stamp it on the cheek, and you'll get a beautiful, beautiful light application, because when you apply these straight to the face, I feel like even if you apply the one dot method that Selena Gomez has talked about in her videos, I still feel like it's kind of a lot. I like to drag my blush up into the temples too to sort of mix it with my bronzer, and this shade, you guys, is just so beautiful. Taking a little bit more of that product off my hand, tapping it on the other side, and applying it to the other cheek. Oh, these blushes are so beautiful. I do love this liquid blush. Nice and dewy, but not overly dewy or greasy. They just apply so beautiful to the skin. I mean, if you know, you know. I'm just gonna take my sponge without any additional product and sort of just clean up this area. I love doing this after I apply my blush and my bronzer, just to make sure everything is nice and crisp. I recently picked up the highlighter in the shade Mesmerized. I didn't gravitate towards this product when it first launched because I didn't care for the shade range. However, I saw so many people rave about it and so many people love this particular shade. And I don't have anything in like a rose gold shade like this, not in powder or in liquid form. I think this is the only liquid highlighter I own. yeah, this is the only liquid highlighter I own, so I figured, you know what, let's give this a go. This shade is absolutely stunning, and it looks so beautiful paired with this blush. It just looks like a giant bruise on my hand now. It looks so pretty, and honestly, this is something you only also need like one little dot, and that little dot will go super duper far. I'm just going to use my sponge to blend this out. Yeah, I liked this way more than I anticipated. Whatever is left, I'm kind of just stamping on the nose. But look at that. Oh, does that not look so beautiful? Oh my god, I love it. I'm gonna powder my face now, and I'm going to be using their setting powder in the shade Light. This powder is not my favorite. It has a beautiful finish, don't get me wrong, and it looks gorgeous on the skin, but it kind of makes me a little oily, which is strange for me, especially since I'm a dry-skinned person. I never get oily skin. I don't know, it has a really nice like skin-like finish, and I think because of that, it kind of makes me look a little greasy at the end of the day. But my Halo Setting Glow Powder from e.l.f. has a similar finish, but it doesn't make me oily, so I'm a little confused about this one, to be honest, and honestly, it's just not my favorite. I'm gonna take my sponge and just remove the little bits of creases I have under my eyes. And I'm going to take this brush and set the under eyes with the powder. Don't get me wrong, the finish is gorgeous on this powder, but it's not flattering throughout the day. Look at how beautiful and smooth that looks without making it look matte or flat, but it just, I don't know, it makes me look greasy at the end of the day, and I'm not a fan of that. Then I'm just gonna take a big fluffy brush, dip into this, tap off any of the excess, and set the rest of the skin. Just taking my blush brush and just kind of reviving that blush a little bit. There we go. This is what the skin is looking like up close and personal. It looks really, really good, like smooth. The powder is great, don't get me wrong. It doesn't wear well for me throughout the day. But overall, everything is looking really, really nice. Minus the creasing in my eyes, but I'm about to fix that. Another thing I don't own from Rare Beauty yet is an eyeshadow palette. I don't gravitate towards their eyeshadow palettes, or I haven't. They put out, their first set of eyeshadow palettes were all shimmering shades, and don't get me wrong, I love a good shimmer, but I like mattes more than I like shimmers, and so I didn't quite care for those palettes. And then the second round of palettes, they had a decent variety of both shimmers and mattes, but the color scheme just wasn't my favorite. And in the center of the palette, there was a huge, giant pressed glitter that, again, not my vibe. I'm not big on glitter or too many like glitter eyeshadows in my palette, so they just haven't put out a palette that I was like, yes, I must get that. I do love the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer. It's my favorite, hands down, best eyeshadow primer I think I've used. I love the shade. I definitely do think that they should release more shades of that so that it could be fitted for different skin tones. Maybe in the future they will, I'm sure. But I also really, really like their liquid eyeshadows. This one is in the shade Neutral, so this is what I am going to apply today. I love, love, love this, either on its own or as a base. It looks beautiful regardless, and this blends out like a dream. I'm going to apply this one eye at a time, just because I know that this formula is a fast drying formula, and once it dries, it's not going anywhere, you guys. It's gonna sit tight for the whole day. I'm gonna take this, and I like to apply this closer to my lash line. Whatever's left over, just kind of make that nice, like, you know, circular shape. And then I like taking this brush. This one is from Real Techniques. It's the Insta Pop Shade Brush. And I like to use this to blend this liquid shadow out. And that's it, one and done. They blend out really, really nicely. I wish that they would come out with more shades of this formula. Maybe even some like really pretty like metallic or satin shades. Ooh, that would be nice. Whatever is left on the brush, I'm just going to lightly smudge this out on the lower lash line, more so to just get rid of those creases underneath the eyes once again. No matter what I do, my concealer always creases. All right, so I'm going to take my setting mist one more time, just give this a really, really, really good shake and spray the face. And I'm going to go in with the mascara. This is one of my favorites. I think it's number 2 though now. My favorite mascara is the one by Merit Beauty that I did a review on not so long ago. But this mascara is wonderful. I actually have a backup of this in a full size because I liked that they came out with a mini. That way I could try it, see if I wanted to invest in the full size. And I really, really do enjoy this mascara. It's a really nice lengthening and curling. Like I could see the curl I'm getting right now. It's such a great formula. For lips, I'm gonna go in first with the matte lip cream in the shade of Fearless. This is gorgeous. And then I'm gonna top that off with a little bit of the Nearly Neutral lip gloss balm or gloss balm, something like that. It's the most comfortable like duo ever, and it looks so beautiful. I have the most beautiful monochromatic like spring look I feel going on, and everything just looks so nice. It's like a beautiful, almost romantic Valentine's Day look. I did that. It kind of looks like that, doesn't it? It's so pretty, so like, it just, everything just looks so good. I'm always in awe as to how all of these products look like on the skin. Like it's always gonna guarantee that I have a beautiful makeup look. And that's all I've got for you guys today. So hopefully you enjoyed this full face of Rare Beauty. I adore this brand. I'm always eager and waiting for when they're going to launch their next product. I know that they just did their whole bronzer and new blushes and their face powders collection for the spring, but I am so excited to see what comes next. And I'm also hoping that they put out more eyeshadow palettes and micro tipped brow pencils, because I feel like a lot more of us use the micro tipped brow pencils than those like chunkier brow pencils. So how many times am I gonna say brow pencils? Okay, yeah, we get it. But I'm really excited to see more and more from this brand. Like it never ceases to amaze me. I love how they have launched their makeup products in the past couple of years, because I love that I have this privilege now of getting to use all of these products simultaneously and just seeing how beautiful this look is. Like I'm in awe every single time I apply these makeup products. So yeah, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and spread my love for makeup, and I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, mwah. Bye-bye.